A couple of years ago, I had the privilege of hearing Tony Nadal, who is Nadal's uncle, in a TED talk. And it was really amazing because he was very bold about his presentation. When he was talking, he was telling us a story about the first time that, probably not the first time, but Nadal was playing Federer. We could call it the GOAT. And Nadal was asking his uncle, hey, what are my odds here? And Tony Nadal, when he was telling us about his story, he said, well, the first thing that I told him is his forehand. Well, he has the first best forehand in history. Your forehand is not that good. And your backhand, oh, he has a great backhand. And your backhand, well, it's not that good. And so on and so on. And eventually Nadal went like, hey, dude, you're my uncle. Why are you destroying me? And he was like, you're not paying me to tell you that you're right. You're telling me to be bold and let's find a solution together. So why I'm telling you this story right now, it's because I would like to have that ability right now, just to tell you how I've been seeing things the last couple of years and how can we walk through them. Um, so let's start with some facts. The first one is only 15 to 20% of CEOs have actually a data tech based foundation. And actually, if you look a little bit deeper on that, we realize that actually only companies that are tech related have CTO related companies. So that's something that might be disturbing. We are not actually doing our job. If we look at it, 10, 15 years ago, McKinsey started saying that data was going to be the new oil. It was going to be the new gold. It was going to be the new diamonds. And only having 15 to 20% of companies with CEOs that have a data tech based foundation is not that good. Yes, we have been improving, but it's not quite there. Second, um, data revolution, as I mentioned before, is not as revolutionary as expected. Actually, in 2018, and that was a high record, 38% of the companies that we were talking with said that actually they are data driven companies. And just to be a little bit sad about it, actually, after COVID, after everything that happened, those companies went from 37 to 23%. Why? My perception is because they actually, when they started to be more digitalized, they started learning what means to be data driven company. And they realized they thought they were there, but reality is they're not there yet. So again, 23% mentioning that 15 years ago, we are supposed to be the fourth revolution of the industry. It's not that good. Only one out of five companies. And finally, well, you know what happened with the startups the last couple of years, and sadly, I believe that tech has been a tool for valuation, not for value creation. So yes, if you are a tech company, they can easily sell your company 15x revenue. You can actually sell your company based on the ability that you'll have to build clients, to build data, but reality is that only 1% of tech companies reach Series F. I don't know if everyone is familiar with that concept, but it's how far or how big a startup company actually makes a business. They have to prove a number of data, of customers, of revenue, of sales in order to start reaching those stages. And only 0.05% reach each stage. So, yes, we all know the risk is high, don't take me wrong, but I believe, and this is me talking, that the reason for that is because tech startups are not meant to create value, are meant to be highly valuated, which for some businesses it's great, but this is CTOs talking. This is people that want to make a difference. We truly need a difference. Okay, so this is some quotes that I got from people. The first one, and again, we were talking a little bit about the past. Where were we? What has been happening? Um, and the first thing that I got is you can do 100 things right, but one operational issue burns you. For a second, let's think how many of you, how many of us have done a great job during the week. We have changed, we have made migrations, we have new functionalities, and the laptop of that new VP C level person doesn't work. and the next phrase that you receive from your team is, the IT team is not that good. How many of you have built a really good functionality after following or maybe even looking for people to give you a proper definition? And when you actually finish it and you feel that you did a great job, someone comes in and says, you know, that functionality was not what I was expecting. So at the end, we have a very, very big problem is operationally speaking, we can be easily burned. We can do great in terms of the innovation. We can do great in terms of development, but operation issues can burn you your time, how people perceive you, how can you do a better job. So that's a fact. The second thing, and probably you have heard it as well, is tech has been used as a catchy phrase and not a tool to transform your company. And yes, if it's between us talking, I was talking to someone yesterday and they were talking about ChatGPT. Probably now we are catchy again because ChatGPT has helped us. Most of you probably have a new friend which is ChatGPT. If you don't have it, make it your best friend. Sorry for the parentheses, but it's important. I don't think ChatGPT is going to change the industry right now, but we need to be prepared when that happens because it's going to happen. So if ChatGPT is not your best friend at the time, make it your best friend. But what I was telling is that a couple of days ago, I heard that Google is updating their BART AI tool, and I was thinking that I've been using Bard for the last 3 or 4 years. So reality is a lot of things that have been happening should not be new for us. But the moment that they appear in the industry for a lot of people that are more concerned into the business, are more concerned about doing cool stuff, well, it does become an issue. So basically, um, we have to make sure that those catchy phrases don't change us. We have to make sure that actually those tools are meant to transform the company. Actually, before this conversation, I did ask ChatGPT and I asked, hey, how should we build our processes? Should we build our processes based on technological tools? Or if we truly understand our processes, we should find the proper tool. And ChatGPT actually said, hey, you should know your processes well and then build your tools. So make sure that that happens. And I insist all these quotes are things that damage us. I believe that the moment that our CEO comes in and says, hey, ChatGPT, hey, data scientist, hey, unstructured data, hey, machine learning, we tend to accept that. And I insist, we have to make sure that our job is to make sure that even though we use all these catchy phrases as a speech of sale, it's important, don't take me wrong, we actually look for it as an operational advantage. How are we going to support our business? How are we going to support our sales? Because our product is X times better because of the functionality, the technology that I bring in. Lastly, tech is sold as the savior of all our problems. And actually, the CTO is the first one to fail as he tends to oversell and therefore underdelivers. How many times would you've been in that situation that someone asks you, hey, how long it's going to take that new app? And you have the best of concerns. Probably you have been sleeping less than everyone else. And you would go and say 3 months. Um, 3 months and 1 day later, everyone is going to punish you and everyone is going to say, hey, you didn't solve our problems. So be very concerned about that. Do our processes. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys are really similar to how I am. We're highly structured. We tend to go step by step. So trust your instincts, trust your skills. So try not to oversell. Try to actually, I guess it's better to undersell and over deliver. People tend to be more grateful about that. Yes, at the beginning it's really hard. If you come in and say, I'll see you in 5 months, people will get very stressed, but there are tools around that. You can deliver by stages, you can deliver prototypes, and there's plenty of tools that I'm pretty sure that you guys are aware of. But I guess the message, and as I said, tech is sold as the savior of all our problems. And I think we truly are not. We are just a really important part of the business. We should be more important as time comes by, as companies. It doesn't really matter the industry. They have to be more evolved, they have to be more digital, and all of that will happen thanks to our work. Said that, what can we do to actually become a strategic partner in that small table? And before sending those messages, I truly believe that we can make a difference. Myself, the last couple of years, I've been trying to learn how to do it better, and I realized that I have to train. Technically speaking, over the years, I'm less technical than I used to be. That has been really painful for me, but I have been accepting it. There's great people in my team that can do the technical part. I have to do other stuff to help them. And one of them, it's actually I'm starting to become a member of boards. It really doesn't matter if it's actually the only rule that I have is I don't want tech companies because I want to learn. I want to be part of a company that actually doesn't know anything about technology or they don't mind about technology to see how can I be better. I insist. If eventually I can bring value, great. But what I'm looking forward is actually understanding how those companies move, how they understand their problems, how they find value, and eventually, if I can be better, well, I can bring a higher value to our teams, to our peers, and to our companies. So said that, probably the first thing is set boundaries. Try to establish what really brings value into your business. People tend to throw problems. Monday, a couple of problems. Tuesday, a couple of problems. Your band wide is five. By Wednesday, you have seven problems. At the end of the week, you have 12, but your band wide still five. So try to set boundaries. Be very concerned on how you have a team for your OPEX, a team for your CAPEX, a team for your support, and try to involve yourself into CAPEX. Try to involve yourself into projects that bring value. I truly believe that given our skills, given our expertise, we are capable, and that's the time for us. So, if possible, try to disconnect yourself from the daily basis operation. You have your teams, you have your protocols, you have your processes, trust your people, but make sure that you are involved in really what matters to your company. How can you bring value? Sorry. So, in the same side, the moment that you're capable of setting those boundaries, like I said before, set yourself in the side of value creation. Make sure that anything and everything you're doing, well, everything probably it's way too much, but try to choose a couple of things that actually create value. How are you going to make a difference in that sale? Which at the end it's important, even though our job is highly technical. That's what brings food to the table, selling. So make sure that you're in that part. Don't forget how smart we are. And yes, I am being very totalitarian, and that's usually wrong, but we are smart guys. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are. So don't hide yourselves. Actually, something that might sound like I'm praising you, it's totally the opposite. We tend to hide ourselves. We tend to to be behind the curtains. Don't do that. Look for problems. Americans tend to love the word opportunities. Forget for a second the word opportunities. Look for problems. You have the ability, you have the capabilities to fix those problems and make sure those problems are actually going to make your company better. Finally, as continuing on that idea, become an aggregator of problems. So make sure that when people actually need something to be fixed, when people try to understand what's happening, you are that guy that they want to call. So something that is really important, and I think it's one of the reasons, and it's not the objective of this conversation, but why project management is an issue is because people tend to give us an answer for a problem that they do not understand. They ask us for a mockup, and based on that mockup, we have to come back a couple of months later with a development. And the moment they see that, they realize that was not exactly what they needed because they haven't actually figured out the problem. So you guys have that ability. Guys have the ability to understand problems. So become an aggregator of problems. Show people. I insist. Don't fear to hide yourself. Probably some of you, at least I am. I'm not the most social person in the world. Actually, this for me talking to you guys, it's an issue. It's hard for me. But we have to get out there. We have to show and prove people that we actually know better, that we can actually bring value, that we can actually understand and help them understand their problems and eventually build solutions together. Um, Finally, this is really important, and probably this might sound wrong, but we have to actually choose whether we actually want to solve the problem or hide the pain. And either one can be right at at the right moment, but you do have to choose which kind of person you want to be. So you're that person that's going to take your time, that actually is going to understand what's happening or solve the problem, or just going to give a painkiller so problems don't show up. I insist, not every company has the moment, the maturity, and the right instance where a solver is what they need. Um, but again, this is not about what the company needs, is what you have to become. And I do believe that we need to choose who we are. And either one, we're going to find a place in the organization. Um, Finally, and my objective is maybe if people have questions or just give you some time back so the panel, we can do it. It's a couple of quotes. So the first one, and this was said by Netscape founder. He said, "Software is eating the world." This happened like 10 years ago, and this is happening in all sectors. Actually, in the future, every company will become a software company. So I don't want to say this as again praising. Actually, I think this is a great challenge. This is a lot of pressure for us because people, industries have been saying that for the last 10, 15 years. And to be honest, I don't think we fully understand what that means. And maybe we do, but it doesn't matter what we think. Remember, this is a table. There are several C people, some of them which they don't know how to turn off their cell phone. And some of them, and maybe they're even better than us, but they chose a different path. We have lawyers, we have salespeople, we have operational people. There's plenty. Um, said that, this is actually a challenge, and we have to make sure that we understand what it means. Second, and probably the person on the right, you do know who he is. Bill Gates said once, "The advance of technology is based on making it fit in so that you don't really even notice it. So it's part of everyday life." So again, this is me trying to send a challenge. How do we make our technology very smooth, how it flows, how people start believing, understanding that by using technology, their life is easier. It's not a problem. It's not a new problem on their hands. It's not something new. It's actually, hey, I'm always used to doing something, and actually, this helps me doing it better. Um, just to finish, it's I spent a lot of time trying to get people out of Excel because of our business, of what we're building. If someone is on Excel, means that they're doing something that they should not be doing. But people love Excel. People feel that they can talk with Excel, that they can actually do their stuff in Excel, and that's a great job. They made it part of our daily basis activities. And you have people that have no idea how to use Excel, but they feel that they do. So what I'm trying to say here is they have made a great job in doing that, making people feel they're really good at something, technologically speaking, and that's something that we all of us should be looking for. Um, at the end, I think that our job is to actually find that fit. So let's give it a try. Let's keep trying to set those boundaries. Let's make sure that we are part of value creation. Like you said, let's aggregate value and choose whether you want to solve problems or hide pain. Um, I think it only went 20 minutes, so I don't know if there's time for any questions or we go directly to the panel. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, I did send some messages, and once again, thanks for hearing out.
Hi everyone, and Edgar, that's great. And we have still have about 15 minutes. I'm not sure if we have all the speakers in there. Your example was very good about Excel, and that's one of those things that Microsoft is very proud to create because it's everybody loves using it, etc. And one interesting information that I can give it to you, nearly last 5 years. It's a group in Microsoft, including Bill Gates, and he comes for special projects, is how to make Excel relevant on touchscreen without a keyboard and mouse. And it's a very tough challenge. But as you know, the computing is going more and more on the touch screens, and how to make the Excel relevant on those is something that Microsoft has been working significantly, trying to make sure that the Excel continues to be a popular tool within the new generation of devices and people.
That's
So
really cool. It's amazing how a mouse and a keyboard, which is so unnatural, if you put it
best,
from a
yes,
perspective, is very natural for us. Like people, how Microsoft was able to do it because they were the
yes.
first one to do it. It's amazing. So it's great that you guys are working on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I try to give people is like they don't realize that is a learn behaviors. This thing, like, I mean, we learn. I mean, I come from older generation, which I seen green screens and function keys and the keyboards. Then the mouse and the became a very important tool in there. Then now the new generation wants touch screens. I mean, they don't even use keyboards very much, voice activation, etc. So, Edgar, where do you see about when you are very talking very clearly so about CTOs are not easy job and is a very challenging job from the startup perspective. Where do you see that the difference between, let's say, CIO and CTO in an organization?
Well, actually, that's a really good question because when we were building our CTO office, we realized that actually what I do it's more of a CI office. My team
Hmm.
actually has data, has technology, and I think the problem of being a CTO it's big enough already. It's challenging enough. We need to know about
Yeah.
back end, front end, everything that is happening with the cloud has also made a new challenge. Cybersecurity, even though if you're not a CISO, you have to know about that. And when you actually put that I into perspective, well, a new world comes in. So you now have databases is right in the middle, but you do have analytics, you have models, probably people that come from I'm actually a mathematician, so we come from a world that actually a linear regression is actually stronger than a machine learning, and but reality is because we learn about machine learning before we learn about linear regressions, but now technology allows us to do machine learning, artificial intelligence. So I think that's what's been happening is that the technological challenges are just getting bigger and bigger. So if you actually want to become more the I rather than the T, I think that it's not about technology skills. I think those we can manage. There are going to be tools to make us experts on machine learning or artificial intelligence faster than it took us to be experts on backend. What I truly believe that we need to focus ourselves is how we become better communicators. I think that's one of the skills that we're not very good at. People don't tend to understand us. I think that we need to be better at explaining people where we are really strong. We are engineers before the computing part or the data part. So we have to show people that our skills in building methodologies make us very, very different, very, very powerful. And lastly, I think that we need to make sure that we're highly focused. As we have so many problems, we have to make sure that if we are going to be a chief information officer, we're actually spending our time on information, making sure how that information actually brings value.
Yeah, I think what you said as well is quite important. Is what is the kind of level? And I love your example about handing over certain things to other team members after discovering it's viable in the for the business that you are in. The new technologies you hand it over to other people. So is this something that do you have any other examples? Like, what are the things that you rely on somebody else to follow on those technologies?
Yes. So before getting there, something that you did say, how people evolve, just to make it a little bit more relaxed. If you deliver my daughter something that it's not touchscreen, she says it's broken. She's 5 years. So
Yeah.
so that's a reality, how people tend to evolve, and we need to evolve with them. Something that has worked a lot with us is what we call bridges.
Hmm.
Reality is, like I said, we are not great communicators. For us, technology, it's actually very hard to develop, which is not the same for the rest of the people. That might sound wrong, but it's not wrong. We understand building how hard it is to build a TV.
Hmm.
It's very, very hard. Even though today we do it on a massive aspect, building a TV has years of experience, have a lot of
Yes.
technology. But when you go and talk to someone who is not tech enabled, well, TV is easy. You just turn it on and turn it off. And actually, if
Hmm.
it's not working, you just hit it and actually starts working. So that's a great challenge because actually, I was reading about there's this concept that says that as well. Let's put it easy. Actually, Einstein used to say it a lot. The more you know, the more ignorant you are.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of studies around that, and I think that's a challenge. So what we have been building is these bridges, these people that I think it went out for a second. Can you hear me?
No, you're good. No, you're good.
Okay.
I can hear.
So we have these people that actually are learning how to communicate with us, trying to make us not lose or waste time, but at the same time making the business understand what we're doing. Um, we are not inventing the word. It's like what product owners or good product owners do is what product coordinators do. But it's something that we probably what we're trying to get here is we're trying to teach the technologist how to speak better rather than someone that's a really good communicator become a technologist.
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree. Um, I love your example about your daughter. It's similar to my son. I had to explain to him about username and password, and I said, like, so the computer knows that who you are and you're the right one. And he goes, "What do you mean? I go in front of the Xbox Kinect and it just recognizes me." It's like for him, it was a very really going backwards to put a username and password because when he was born, he was just go in front of a computer and says hello and start working for you. And so it's very important to be able to make everybody understand the audience that you are in. Like it could be people who grew up with this thing, or it could be something revolutionary for certain people when they see it's happening.